Hello students, welcome to online course of Mechanical Measurement and Metrology. Myself Abhishek Trivedi from Mechanical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. We are discussing linear and angular measurement. In the previous lecture, we have already covered the topic named as slip gauges, in which we have discussed the basic classification of the slip gauge, how the slip gauge are useful as a reference gauge, and what is the ringing process and why we are using such ringing process for the slip gauge setup. Also, we have discussed the accessories which are directly related to the slip gauge, like holder and base and measuring jaws assembly. Today we are going to discuss the second portion of the chapter, that is the angular measurement. In a particular angular measurement, we are starting with a basic concept of angular measurement named as sine bar, and then we are moving forward to the autocollimator in the upcoming lecture. So let us start with concept of sine bar. In the angle measurement, the basic instrument, or we can say the basic setup which is useful for the measurement of the angle, that is sine bar. As the name suggests, the sine stands for the mathematical trigonometry term. In the mathematics, we have learned the particular concept of sine angle, and the bar stands for the rectangular section having some particular geometry. The figure shows the basic concept of the sine bar. This particular rectangular block is known as a sine bar, in which two rollers are provided. This is the one roller and this one is the second roller. They are the lap cylinders, or we can the lap rollers are provided, which is directly attached with the sine bar. Here the rigid attachment has been provided with the top and side surface of the roller as well as surface of the sine bars. Some holes are drilled in between the particular sine bar just because of these are known as a relief holes. The particular relief holes are useful for reduction of the weight, as well as easily you can move your sine bar from one particular location to another particular location. The datum is also known as the reference surface on which the sine bar practically is going to be performed. The particular sine bar is made up of the high speed steel as well as high carbon steel, which is useful for measurement of the angle on the basis of the trigonometry. Suppose in the trigonometry you have already learned this particular concept. Let's say this is a right angle triangle. Here this is 90. We can say A, B and C. Suppose this particular angle, that is the theta angle, and if I have to measure the value of theta, or we can say what is the value of theta, I will use a basic concept of sine. Sine theta is equal to opposite side upon hypotenuse. So this is the basic concept of the sine principle. Same way, suppose consider this is our required triangle. The triangle start with this particular line, hypotenuse line, and the line joining over here. Suppose this is a 90 degree, we can say right angle triangle, and suppose this is the angle theta. If I have to measure, if I will provide the numbering, let's say A dash, here somewhere B dash, and over here that is a C dash. If I have to provide the angle, then what I am supposed to do, I will use the concept sine theta, or we can say theta dash, that is equal to B dash C dash upon A dash B dash. So this is known as a sine principle for the measurement of the angle. Now suppose I have to measure the particular angle of the given workpiece. What I will do, I will simply measure the angle sine theta, and for the measurement of the sine theta I will simply find the value of A dash B dash and B dash C dash. By providing such value you can actually measure the angle, or we can say you can actually calculate the angle theta, which is the basic angle of the measurement. Sine bar is generally useful for measurement of the angles which are totally based on the principle of sine theorem. The upper surface forms the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. As we have already discussed, the top surface is useful for the measurement of the angle, and it will perform or it will behaves like a hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. The one roller is resting on the flat surface, and the bar can be set at any angle by simply raising the second roller. In the initial condition, suppose here the one roller is placed, second roller is also placed over here, and suppose this is your concept of the sine bar. If I have to provide the workpiece over here, then what I am supposed to do, I will simply lift the one roller and the another roller will be stands over the flat surface. So this particular roller will not going to change its original position. Simply we are using to lift this particular roller, and the final position is like this. Suppose this is your second roller, this is your first roller, and that is your basic surface. And whatever the workpiece has been placed, the workpiece has been placed over here, and this is your sine bar. So what we have done, we have simply lifted the position of the roller, and by checking particular term here, suppose this is a theta, here there is a, here is a b, and suppose here is a c. If I have to find the value of sine theta, then what do you mean by sine theta? Suppose this is angle theta, then that is equal to BC opposite side upon hypotenuse, that is the AB. Here BC means the total distance between B to C, the total linear distance between B to C, that is H upon the total linear distance between A to B, that is the length of the sine bar, we can say L. So sine theta is equal to H by L, where H, that is the height raised by the second roller or height raised for the second roller, and L, that is the length of the sine bar. So guys, this is the basic concept of the sine bar and how it is useful for the angle measurement. By doing a simple linear measurement, you can check or you can calculate the change of the angle, or you can calculate the angle of the given workpiece. Now one question has been arised in your mind, how the sine bar will work, or we can say how we are going to perform the practical over the sine bar. So let us understand one by one concept. Suppose this is our datum surface, two identical rollers, assume these are the identical rollers, two identical rollers has been provided like this. A tapered conical surface, or we can say a routine tapered trapezoidal surface has been provided, having a one length like say D1 or L1 and the another length, that is the L2. Let's say this is L1 and L2. What we are going to do, we are simply putting this particular component over the sine bar. If I am going to put down this particular component, it will be laid down like this. This is the position of the sine bar and the workpiece in an initial condition. Now what is my basic requirement? Our basic requirement is to make a parallelism between the basic datum surface and the top surface of the workpiece. What I have told you, you have to perform such practical experiments to make sure that your datum surface will going to be parallel with the top surface of the workpiece. Now to perform such kind of activity or to perform such kind of practical, that is a basic simple knowledge that if I will going to lift this particular edge, time by time this particular surface will be moving like this in the topward direction, and once it will achieve the topward direction, it will gently lift and it will perform or it will behave like this horizontal condition. And once it will achieve the horizontal condition, I can say that this particular line and this particular line will be parallel to each other. So to do something, or we can say to lift the top surface, what I am supposed to do, I will provide some sort of slip gauge or stack of the slip gauge over here. Now in the second figure you can check, this is the second condition. What we have done, suppose this is our sine bar, I have placed the number of slip gauges over here. The whole sign bar is inclined like this, and the top surface of the particular workpiece is behave like this. So I can say that the top of the workpiece, here the top of the workpiece will be parallel with the bottom of, or we can say the datum of the reference surface. These particular both surfaces are behaving like a parallel surfaces. So to do so, I have to, there is a contact. So to do so, what we have done, we have just simply lifted the one roller in the air, and to provide the support to the one roller, we have already provided the number of slip gauges over here. Now the basic mathematics will be work. This will make a proper Z shape. You can check on your screen. What we have done, we have made a Z over here. What we have done, I have changed the color of the pen. The proper Z has been made. Here suppose there is some angle, let's say theta. So according to mathematics, the same angle will be performed over here, that is another theta. So by taking this particular, I can say that if I can calculate the bottom theta, then I can assume that the top of the theta will be identical with the bottom of the theta. So what is happening? We have simply provided the number of slip gauges. Now from the figure you can check what we have done. We have simply lifted the one roller in the upward direction and provided the number of slip gauges in the bottom of the roller. Once the surface will getting parallel with the base, to check the parallelism between the bottom, or we can say surface plate, or we can say the datum surface, and the top surface of the workpiece, we are using the dial indicator. The dial indicator will perform a basic concept that if there is some deflection between the surface, the dial indicator will directly deflect the pointer condition, and if the pointer condition will not deflect, I can say that by moving the dial indicator from the one position to the another position, if the dial will not change its original position, then I can say that the particular top surface of the workpiece will be parallel with the surface plate of the given setup. So by using such principle, we can measure the angle over the sign bar, or we can say by using the sign bar. The workpiece is clamped with the sign bar, and the top surface of it is set to the angle using the slip gauge combination. A dial is brought with the top end of the workpiece and set as a 0. Then move the dial over the workpiece and check the parallels between the top surface of the workpiece and the surface plate, as I have already told you. So guys, this is the basic concept of the sign bar. Now we are moving for the basic requirement of the sign bar. Why the sign bar is useful? So the axis of the rollers must be parallel, that is the basic requirement behind the sign bar, and the center distance must be known. The center distance between the rollers, that must be known. The top surface of the sign bar must be flat and having the high degree of flatness to perform the proper parallelism principle. The roller must be identical in the size. There we are not going to accept any kind of sign bar having the different rollers in the size, or we can say in the shape. The basic limitation of the sign bar, that is the sign bar is reliable for the measurement of the angle up to 45 degree, or we can say the measurement of 15 to 45 degree angle by using the sign bar is good, but beyond the 45 degree, the error generation, or we can say the chance of the error in the sign bar, that is increasing drastically. So we are avoiding such measurement by using the sign bar principle. There is no scientific approach for the stack formation of the slip gauge. So what we are supposed to do, we are providing a trial and error method for the performance of the slip gauge stack. Once you are providing the stack, then you are going to check the condition of the dial indicator. Once again you are providing the stack, Once again, you are going to check the dial indicator. Again, you are providing or reducing the particular slip gauges, and again you are checking. So there is no any sort of technical aspect behind the choosing of your slip gauge stack. What we are doing, we are simply taking a trial and error method, and which is a very time consuming method. Any unknown projection in the workpiece will directly lead to the formation of the errors. So guys, this is the basic limitation and the requirement of the sine bar. What we have done today, we have discussed the concept of the sine bar, how the sine bar is useful for the measurement of the angle, and what is the basic requirement of the sine bar, and what is the basic limitation of the sine bar. From next lecture, we are going to discuss the sine bar is useful for the measurement of the angle of the conical shape, and then we are completing our next lecture with the autocollimator with angle gauge concept. Till then, thank you.